So now 6 females have come out alleging that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was sexually inappropriate towards them. And this comes after the AG report in New York that the governor of New York was dishonest about the handling of the China virus and sending senior citizens who had the virus back into nursing homes. You know what's funny about this story? What's funny about this story is that the cancer that these left wing politicians have created is beginning to catch up with them. That is the craziest thing about this story. They are finally reaping what they have sown, and I knew this was going to happen. You reap what you sow. You know, I see now Andrew Cuomo whining on television saying, "Oh, if I were to resign, that would be undemocratic." I mean, in hindsight, that is true. But if this was Donald Trump and 6 women came out saying that he was sexually inappropriate, plus there was a picture, Andrew Cuomo would be saying the same thing. He'd be saying he needs to resign, and I believe all women, and all this sort of stuff. I believe all women. I mean, now it's come. You see, they have created this monster, and now it's beginning to destroy them. Of course, it's nonsense to just believe people just because they make allegations. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But the fact is that you saying that, you creating that in people's heads, when it comes back on you, you don't like it so much, do you? So I say he has to resign. He has to resign. Plus, there's a picture. You know, I remember when this whole thing with Donald Trump and that Hollywood video, and I'll go to my grave saying this. I don't think Donald Trump did anything wrong. Many people said that he was talking about assaulting women. That's not what he said. You know that, right? You know that's not what he said. That Access Hollywood video with that Billy Bush fool who's going to hell when he dies, because I feel that he and his family, the Bushes, were the ones who brought that thing to light. I mean, you know, I don't think Trump had anything to apologize for. This is what he said is, when you're a movie, and he was saying this with the notion that this was a private conversation. I mean, it's a very tasteless conversation, but I'm telling you, many people, including Andrew Cuomo, with all those 6 women he's abused, have said worse things in private. He said that when you are famous, women allow you to do all sorts of stuff with them, including even touching them in the pussy. And you know something? That actually might even be. Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. It can't be assault. Donald Trump can't be talking about sexually assaulting women if they let you touch them. Because if you let someone touch you by the privates because you're famous, that's not assault. That's not assault. Now, if you grab them and they don't want you to, that's assault. But what Donald Trump said in that video is that when you're famous, I mean, he was talking stupid talk. I don't know if he was drunk or what. I mean, he doesn't drink, but it's stupid guy talk. It's stupid, dumb. I don't even think he meant it. It's like, you talking, man, geez, it's like, over exaggerated banter. When you're famous, ooh, man, these women, they let you touch them by the pussy if you want. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't mean that, but it's like, that's what he's saying. And then but with Andrew, and everybody was going on about how Trump should get out of the race and all this sort of, including Andrew Cuomo himself. But you got this guy, there's a picture of him with his 2 nasty hands on this woman's face, She obviously looks uncomfortable. You can see it in her face. It's too disgusting. Who the hell knows where his hands have been? Probably digging his bottom, or I mean, these big old nasty hands on the woman's cheeks. And she looks uncomfortable. It's the same thing Joe Biden did, by the way. And remember, y'all have forgotten about this, but a woman accused Joe Biden of assault too back in the 90s, and nobody cared about that. See, it's a double standard. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow, and don't throw stones at when your house is made of glass. You see what they did with Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, there was no proof whatsoever of Brett Kavanaugh doing what he did to that woman, Ford. But those people, I believe all women, I believe and sexual assault, and look at y'all now. It's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter violence. Remember Maxine Waters and all these. You create a crowd and you say they're not welcomed, and what's his name, Eric Cantor, when they go low you kick them, and all this violence talk and Black Lives Matter tearing up the place. But when a couple of people actually have the nuts to go into the nest where they lay, the Capitol building, they're not going to destroy their own neighborhoods like idiots. They go into where the action is. Oh, all this violence that Donald Trump is stoking up, all this violence, all this. Y'all reap what you sow. And Andrew Cuomo should resign, and I hope they impeach him too. Look, I don't blame. Listen, that whole nursing home thing. What I will say is that Donald Trump did bring a huge ship, the size of the Hudson River, into the Hudson River, where infected people could stay because apparently the hospitals were filling up, which we now know is not entirely accurate. But anyway, uh, Andrew Cuomo said no. He wasn't going to do it because it was Donald Trump sending it. And he didn't want to give Donald Trump the credit for helping New York. Y'all remember Donald Trump sent this huge white ship, military hospital ship, into the New York harbor for people with viruses who have nowhere to go to stay in. And Andrew Cuomo said, no, we don't want it. You take that thing back where you come from. It's Donald Trump. We don't gonna give Donald Trump credit. We'll instead put infected people back into nursing homes. Okay, fine. I've said that this virus kills less than 1% of individuals, including the elderly and people with pre-existing conditions. I've said that. I've said it. So whether they go into the ship or the nursing home, really, it doesn't. I consider this thing to be a flu, okay? And with all flus and all illnesses, the elderly and pre existing conditioned people will always get it worse than others. But at the same time, I don't think that all this extremities need to be taken. So really, I'm not going to begrudge Andrew on that. But I will say this: if it had been Donald Trump who refused help from, let's say the roles were reversed. Andrew Cuomo was the president, Donald Trump was the governor of New York, and Andrew sent a big hospital ship for people with the virus to stay in. And Trump said, no, we don't want it. We'll instead put them in a nursing home. And, it turns out that some people caught the virus and got sick. Some actually forget impeachment, forget resignation. I think they would try and hang Donald Trump for that. I think they would bring. I think he would. I think they'd try to hang him. I think that they actually try to bring in the death penalty, and they would do it, and he'd be hanging in the street too, publicly. It'd be the first public execution in 150. I'm telling you, that is what would happen. He'd either he'd be arrested. He'd certainly be arrested, and he'd probably be hanged. I mean, maybe it's too extreme to say he'd be hanged, but he'd certainly be arrested. I'm telling you. So you reap what you sow. You don't like it coming back on you. So now stop bitching and whining, Andrew Cuomo, with your fake crocodile tears. You've reaped this. You helped to reap what you've helped to do this, and you are just a puppet of the system, just like anybody else. But the problem with you is that you think the system will warm to you because you serve them, and that's not how it works. So stop your whining, stop your crying, either resign or sit back and relax and wait for the New York legislature to impeach you, which they rightfully should. If you hadn't helped in this, I mean, look, I'll say, look, there's proof that he is a dog and he is a predator with women because he's got his two dirty, stained, nail-ridden hands on some woman's face. There's photograph, just like that one. What's his name? Al Franken had his hands, big hands, on this girl's boobs while she was sleeping. Remember that scandal? I mean, there's photographic evidence with Andrew Cuomo. There's no photographic evidence with Donald Trump. Just a bunch of rumors. There's photographic evidence with Andrew Cuomo. So even before all of this, believe all women and all this stuff, he'd be out. So he needs to go. But this just reinforces it. He needs to go a long time ago. 6 people. And then you see, notice now the media is trying to not talk so much about it. The problem is more and more women keep coming out. And you know what? I believe them. If we're supposed to believe all women when it's Republican, I'm going to believe them when it's Democrat. I believe them. What you going to say about it? This is your